I'm on Waterloo Bridge above the Thames in London, thinking about William Blake and his sense of London, and through the interpretation particularly of Kathleen Raine, who gave a brilliant talk about the architecture of London and how when you look at buildings you can see exhibited Blake's onefold, twofold, threefold, fourfold vision. So I thought we could have a look at some of the buildings from this wonderful vantage point and consider what Blake might have meant. If I home in on St Paul's Cathedral, that's a good place to start, because Blake did not like Christopher Wren's St Paul's. He thought it was a building of onefold vision, built by the ratio. It's a building of quantity and size, and true enough when you go inside as well. Someone once said to me, it's not really a place for praying, it's a place just to process. And then Nelson is buried beneath the high altar, a man known not for Blake's wars of love but for the wars of violence. I understand what Blake means too, because domes, I always feel ambivalent about domes. They're caverns, or as Blake said, they englobe a world that they try to understand rather than opening onto Eden eternity. Now, is there a modern building that's a bit like St Paul's? I wonder whether in a different way the IBM building is onefold too. The computer building looks a bit like computer chips. You can see how it's just for processing the data of commerce. It doesn't look very human. You can hardly see the windows. It's flat and close to the ground. It's not interested in light and reaching up. It's another characteristic of onefold vision. It's not built with the soul in mind at all. But that changes a bit with twofold vision, where something more human comes in. If I just pan back a bit here, I wonder whether the Ulro Tower has twofold vision, because whilst it's built to serve commerce, it does have the sense that it's been considering the human in mind as well. This is the vision of generation, twofold. So you have what you need to do stuff, but also with a sense of utilities as well that help the bodily life of we human beings, bodily in the strictly biological sense. And the Ulro Tower, which of course made food, wants to project something of twofold contentment, the sense that generation can be taken care of. I think a lot of modern blocks for human habitation are like that. They have units and then they have amenities built into them as well. I'm not sure whether this point on the Thames carries such things. Here's some modern blocks, whether they have a express version of a supermarket in the bottom and maybe a gym, that sense that you can sort of live in the block looking after your embodied needs fully. But they're still rather stacked. There's still something very functional about them, one on top of the other. Thinking of the human with more windows there so you can look out and at least see the Thames. But we're looking for threefold vision now. And if I pan back again, I actually think that the National Theatre tries to embody threefold vision. Now this is the idea of buildings that speak not just to human embodied needs, but to the soul as well. They're trying to reach out for something a bit more inner, a bit more to do with the imaginative life. And the National Theatre is built of concrete, but has impressed in that concrete the circles and lines and fibres, to use the Blake word, of living materials, of wood in that case. And of course a play is a chance to go through something of ensouled life through the characters of the play. So although it's a modernist building like the IBM building right next door to it, you feel it has a very different spirit. It gets lit up at night to show something of that spirit as well. Another threefold building would be perhaps the bridge itself. The river, Father Thames, a place of generation, of course. And it's rather wonderful to be able to stand on this bridge and look at the Thames, to consider its life, to see into the distance the other bridges. They're inspiring places, bridges, with the flow of the water underneath. Again, speaking to threefold generation, they're calming, satisfying. No doubt that's partly why they're attractive. But the question is, can we see a building here of fourfold vision? Now the difference would be that it's not just about quantities and statistics and size and pure scale built as if from a computer, like so many of these high-rises. It's not twofold, built more with the human in mind, human amenities and embodied needs, and not just threefold, built for the comfort of the soul, maybe with some trees that speak of other life as well. Thames has got a lot of trees actually, now I think about it. Blake called this Beulah, the lands of Beulah, where you can find rest for the soul and maybe go for a romantic walk under those trees, and at night look up at the moon and feel something of the imaginative life. But we're looking for more than that with fourfold vision now. And here from Waterloo Bridge, it's possible actually to see just about the building that for Blake, more than any other, carried fourfold vision. In the distance there, I hope you can just about make out Westminster Abbey. And Blake felt that the Gothic carried fourfold vision more than any other, because the Gothic tried to draw down from above and from within us that which is more than just this world, which comes from Eden, eternity. And so Gothic buildings for him were portals to other worlds. There's another thing on the embankment here that does that. Cleopatra's Needle, lifted from Egypt, of course, out of its context, but nonetheless you can see in that reaching up of the obelisk the desire to bring down more life than just we humans are inclined to experience day to day, without the desire to look up and see more. And when you look back, particularly towards the city, if I move around to the east again towards the city, and you can see church spires. Here's the church spire. I think of St Bride's Fleet Street with its wedding cake looking spire. Spires try to bring down fourfold vision for us, try to suggest that if we only look up, there's more to life than mere scale and quantity of St Paul's with its wars against the human soul. More than just living a comfortable life in a building that's made to make you feel like you've got everything at your fingertips, the world and a very tasty sandwich. It's more too, though, than threefold vision as well. The streets of Beulah lined with trees in order to make one feel the soul is welcome here. No, fourfold vision for Blake is catching those moments when we can look up, see more, and realise that our life and the divine vision can be born in our bosom, even as we are born in the bosom of God.